And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs." And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget that grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.
Fortitude is the courage to face whatever stands in your way, to follow God's mission, however hard, and to persevere in the face of danger. It is the special virtue of pioneers. The pioneer in my declamation sees the importance of education and progress. He wanted to explore the vast complex nature of space, which still puzzles us today. I will be reciting President John Fitzgerald Kennedy's speech, where he boldly declares that the U.S. will stop at nothing to reach its goal of traveling to the moon. The country was striving to push into the unknown, and my message to you is to do the same. We meet in an hour of change and challenge, in a decade of hope and fear, in an age of both knowledge and ignorance. The greater our knowledge increases, the greater our ignorance unfolds. No man can fully grasp how far and how fast we have come, but condense, if you will, the 50,000 years of man's recorded history in a time span of about a half century. Advanced man had learned to use the skins of animals to cover them. Then about 10 years ago, man emerged from his caves to construct other kinds of shelter. Only 5 years ago, man learned to write and use a cart with wheels. Later, electric lights and telephones and automobiles and airplanes became available. And now, if America's new spacecraft succeeds, we will have literally reached the stars before midnight tonight. If this capsule history of our progress teaches us anything, it is that man, in his quest for knowledge, is determined and cannot be deterred. The exploration of space will go ahead, whether we join in it or not, and it is one of the great adventures of all time. We mean to be part of it. We mean to lead it. For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon and to the planets beyond. And we have vowed that we shall not see space governed by a hostile flag of conquest, but by a banner of freedom and peace. We have vowed that we shall not see space filled with weapons of mass destruction, but by instruments of knowledge and understanding. But why some say the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. And because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win. And the others too. But if I were to say to you, my fellow citizens, that we should send to the moon 240,000 miles away from the control station in Houston, a giant rocket more than 300 feet tall, the length of this football field, made of new metal alloys, some of which have not yet been invented, then return it safely to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere at speeds causing heat nearly half of the temperature of the sun. To do all this, and do it right, and do it first before this decade is out, then we must be bold. Many years ago, the great British explorer George Mallory, who was to die on Mount Everest, was asked why he wanted to climb it. He said, because it is there. Well, space is there, and we're going to climb it, and the moon and the planets are there, and new hopes for knowledge and peace are there. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked. Thank you.
My name is Kendall Buffalo, and I'm doing Soul Surfer by Bethany Hamilton. This speech is from a movie based on true events about a girl who got attacked by a shark while surfing. She gave this speech after recovering and being strong enough to surf again. I was born in Hawaii to two die-hard surfers. How could I not have salt water in my veins? They say home is where the heart is. For most people, that consists of four walls and a welcome mat. But for me, it's the ocean, with the warmth of the sun on my skin. Two brothers. That's my answer when anyone asks me why I'm so competitive. And of course, there's my best friend Elena. We spent more time wet than we did dry. My mom was convinced that we were mermaids. From the moment I caught my first wave, I knew I wanted to be a pro surfer. Nothing else seemed to matter. Surfing is my passion, my way of life. The soak I get from riding a perfect wave is pure joy. Us surfers, we know when the best waves are coming. We can feel it. It's a gift. We are little mermaids and mermen. We know the moment between the sets, when it's quiet, and the waves haven't even formed yet. It's just energy surging through the water. That's our time to be patient. We listen to our instincts, and we trust it. But like my dad always says, life is an adventure, and sometimes you wipe out and end up in the impact zone. But I don't understand. What happened to I can do all things? Why? Why did this happen to me? Why did I have to lose everything? What am I supposed to do now? How am I supposed to know what to do? Then Jesus Christ came to me and told me that when the time is right, I will know. Until then, I need to pray and listen. I wouldn't change what happened to me, because then I wouldn't have this chance in front of all of you. This chance to embrace more people than I ever could have with two arms. I was born to surf. This is why I wake up at the crack of dawn every day. This is why I endure belly rashes, reef cuts, and muscles so tired they feel like noodles. And I've learned that life is a lot like surfing. When a wave brings you down, you need to get right back up because you never know what's over the next wave. And if you have faith, anything is possible. Anything at all. I got my courage from Jesus Christ. He told me to be strong, to remember that I didn't lose everything, not even close. That shark didn't kill me. I'm still here. I'm still alive, with a family that loves me. Then he asked me if I was thinking of surfing again. Thinking? I knew I was going to surf again. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Jesus Christ did have something bigger planned for me. All I had to do was trust and believe in him. After all, my passion for surfing was more than my fear of sharks.